Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rocha, Kwadash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder apostle, Aharawan Banyasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim that believe and push this truth around the four corners of the earth, and Akwathim that believe. Nakar Harab Banyasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today I'll be coming out with a lesson that's on this article. It's a very short article, and it was put in the group chat by the bishop of this camp. And it says here, it says Trump says U.S. will have a very substantial response if China enacts trade deal with China. And it says here, it says aboard Air Force One, U.S. President said on Saturday the United States would respond in a significant way if China proceeds with the trade agreement it negotiated with China. And it says here, so if they do a deal with China, we'll do something very substantial. Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One, we don't want China to take over Canada. It says, and if they make a deal, and if they make the deal, Salaki, that he's looking to make China will take over Canada. Okay, it says Trump last week said he would impose 100% tariffs on Canada if it follows through on a trade deal with China. And as you know, that's it. And the point of the matter is, the reason why this devil President Babylon is doing what he's doing, because it's a desperate it's panic fighting. Babylon is collapsing, going down, and these other nations are rising higher and higher, and the position of power is shifting. But this also could go into these other nations turning against Babylon. So I just got some scriptures. So without further ado, this is Jeremiah 50, verse 9. And of course, this was talking about the judgment of ancient Babylon, but it's applicable to today's Babylon. It says, for lo, I will raise up. So let me read it again. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall turn in vain. So the Lord is gathering these nations up, and it's going to get to a point to where they're going to be, well, they're already conglomerate. And with the recent debacles and tomfoolery that's going on with Babylon and President Babylon, that ain't doing nothing but causing these other nations to come even closer together. But once it get to that point, and then once it get to a certain height, the Lord going to make these nations come at Babylon, America. And from thence, Babylon is going to be taken. And then it says, and their experts and their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall turn in vain. That's you. It make me think about Revelation 17. These shall turn and hate the whore and burn her with fire and eat her flesh. Just roughly paraphrasing. These other nations are getting their arsenal up. And it says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. So Chaldea, aka Babylon, we're gonna speak in code. We're gonna leave that as it is. It's gonna be a spoil, meaning it's gonna be for the taking. And all that spoil her, Salaki, shall be satisfied. So these other nations are gonna be satisfied to do Babylon a dirty one, take something from Babylon, cause problems, cause a downfall. Why? Verse 11, because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as bulls. So you got to think Babylon was very, very, very rejoiced over the downfall of Yasharallah. They rejoiced of having Jake in slavery. That's why they taking down all these monuments and destroying murals and all this other stuff. Taking stuff out of textbooks and history books because this devil is shame for his violence against his brother Jacob. But they had grown fat. They have gotten completely rich off Jake's back, off the blood, sweat, and tears, off of Jake. And they've grown fat, become great as the heifer at grass and bellow as bulls. They just satisfied. I'm gonna jump down. Verse 13. It says, because of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. So, because of the wrath of the Lord, Babylon is going to be wholly desolate. And we're talking about future Babylon, today's Babylon, where we're at right now. The Babylon where they got all the guidelines and the rules and regulations trying to keep people from speaking the truth. That Babylon. And it's going to be because of the wrath of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, the wrath of the Heavenly Father. This Babylon is not going to be inhabited. It's going to be completely and totally desolate, destroyed. People are going to be astonished and hissed at her plagues. They're going to be like, that used to be a place, or how did this place, this so great of a place, become ruined? But let's continue. And again, this devil doesn't want other nations to be in other places. Why? Because Babylon is being surrounded. You got Alaska, then Greenland, Canada right there, being surrounded. And ain't nothing that this devil can do about it. Verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her and spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord Yahweh. So again, plain and simple, these other nations are putting themselves in array against Babylon. Slowly but surely, the Lord is doing this slowly and methodically, meticulously, and but surely. He just, and everything is falling into place. And it says, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. And a lot of these nations, they bend the bow. Like China is one of those ones that bend the bow, meaning having, we'll say, well, I'll use the old school terminology, WMDs. Like they were saying about Saddam, but when they found out, and all that little debacle there, you know. But and it's only happening. These other nations are gonna bend the bow and they're gonna shoot at Babylon because why? Because Babylon has sinned against the Lord Yahweh, transgressed against Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And again, verse 22. I'm jumping again. It says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. So a sound of battle is in the land. War is imminent, inevitable. Like if you ever watched the animated Superman adventures, that used to come on WB-17 back in the day before they changed it to the CW and all that other stuff. When Superman would fight Brainiac, like when Brainiac had the upper hand and was winning, Brainiac would say to Superman, you cannot delay the inevitable, meaning you can't stop the destruction. You can't stop the judgment of Yahweh Shai from coming forth. It's not going to happen. So again, you cannot delay the inevitable. But we have one that is trying to delay the inevitable, but it won't happen. It is going to come to pass. Verse 23, it says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? So how is it the hammer of the whole earth broken? It is broken through and by Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. It has become a desolation among the nations by Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because verse 24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, Salakia, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh. So the Lord done already laid a snare for this devil. He done already laid a snare for this wicked, sinful kingdom. And It's been taken. The snap happened way back in World War II with the atomic bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The snare was already set, and Babylon was taken and was not aware. It's just now starting to come to fruition to these to Babylon that it is caught. And why? Because why? Striving against the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Striving against the Lord, going against the Lord. That ain't a good thing. But let's get a couple of more scriptures. It was saying here that he was gonna do something if China not China, but Canada do a deal with China. Well, let's see where we at. Let's go here. Yep, right to it. Habakkuk chapter 2. I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but in the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So the vision is yet for an appointed time. And what is that appointed vision? What is that vision that's going to happen at that appointed time? The destruction of Babylon, the judgment of Babylon. And it's going to start to speak at the end as time goes on, events continue to happen, moves continue to get made. That's when the vision of the Lord going to start speaking. That's when it's going to start what coming true or showing that it has always been true, that the words of the Lord have always been true, always been righteous. The Lord has always been right. And though it may seem that it may be taking a long time, it's not. It's not tarrying. It's coming. And it's going to happen very quickly. The Lord going to take Babylon and obliterate it in an hour. Verse 4, it says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith." So so you got to be a non-upright mother hubbard to threaten another nation, not to deal with another nation. People trying to survive, people trying to live. So this devil's soul which is lifted up in him is not upright. This devil is not righteous. They're not good. None of them are. None of Adawam are good. None of them. It is what it is. But the just lives by faith. Let's continue. Verse 5. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man." That's a very proud statement that he made in this article. If Canada and China do a deal, we're gonna do something substantially to them. We're gonna put 100% tariffs on them. Like, bro, you ain't doing nothing but burning your bridges. But because he transgresseth by his wine, his philosophies, his beliefs, his doctrines, his treaties, his policies, his agreements, and all of that stuff, he is a proud man. He neither keepeth at home. So you telling another nation what they can and can't do, you're not keeping at home. It says, "Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." So this devil, he don't stay in his place. He don't mind his own business. Or Babylon, I should say. But this devil, because, right now, Satan's house is divided. So now they warring and fighting against each other. This devil, again, he's proud. He enlargeth his desire as hell. He always want everything. He ain't never ever satisfied. He is as death. He causes problems, and he helps people finish with all they living. The devil can't be satisfied. It don't matter. And he tries to gather and heap unto himself all nations of people because he want to be he want to be on top, and he want to be the leader. It don't work like that. Let's see. Because this devil ain't doing nothing but making enemies. That's all he's doing. He's making enemies of his own allies. As a matter of fact, I think I'm almost there. Let's see. Let me make sure. Okay, I got to go back a few. since he's making enemies. So like you bear with me. Where you at now? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I'm looking for. Here we go. Psalm 55 and 20. Yeah, 20. It says, He hath put forth his hands against as such as be at peace with him. Let me read that again. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. So this devil, he puts forth his hand against those who supposed to be allied with him, who supposed to be on the same team he on. Everybody that's at peace with him, what he does, he ends up coming against them, and he breaks his covenant. I mean, he breaks his word. This devil don't never ever keep his word. Last point. Yeah, second to the last point. Psalms 10 and 5. His ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. So this devil's ways are always grievous. They're always harsh. They're always detrimental. They're always designed to keep one from flourishing and living. But when it comes down to the judgments of the Lord, this devil can't see the Lord's judgments. And the Lord's judgments and judgment is that he goes down. He gets brought down into perdition because he is the son of perdition. And as for this devil's enemies, and even allies, he puffeth at them. Like, you ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna do this, and you ain't gonna do nothing. Verse 6, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So this devil, he really thinks in his heart that Babylon can't be taken down. It won't be taken down. This devil himself think he won't be in adversity. He won't be between a rock and a hard place, as the saying goes, in a desolate, low estate. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. So this devil, his mouth is full of cursing. He don't never speak nothing ever. He ever speak nothing righteous. And under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He always talking about doing something to somebody. Ain't helping nothing, but taking away everything. So yeah, we're gonna see more of this. We're gonna see more of President Babylon honestly making stupid, dumb decisions, but that's why he was put in there, because how people is in Babylon. They don't think, most people anyway. They don't think. They don't understand that he was selected, not elected, to put there because of his lack of cognitive dissonance when it comes down to running and leading things. So, with that, shalom.